This video will not please everyone. Firstly, let's take a look at which specific points, because there are reasons to believe that we might break out of this course dilemma relatively soon. And above all, that everything is just manipulated. Also, a few fake news stories that are circulating out there. We look at comments that clearly prove we are currently in fear. And then I'll also show you my trading setup for today. That should be it for now. Let's get started. See you after the intro. Now, new Uptrender VIP trading. Your opportunity to copy the signals of two professional traders for free. They managed to grow an account from $4,000 to $30,000 within 2 months. The results in the group are also impressive. All you need for this is a deposit of $100 into your BingX account. You can find all further information below in the description. Let's start briefly with the liquidation heat map and what you see here. So friends, you can't paint it any better. Draw. You have a Bitcoin chart here that doesn't know whether to go up or down. The market makers have free choice accordingly. They are currently snacking on this very yellow line at 96,950. Let's just go down 1,000. Hey, what a surprise. There's another yellow impulse that could be picked up. So all in all, you can see it. The market makers have free choice. In between, nothing is happening right now because you just have empty spaces. Now let's take a look at the 3-day view. There, the whole thing looks a bit different, of course. But still, there is free choice up and down. So let's wait and see. I have just now focused on the latest point that is being targeted. I have set another limit order here, but I'll get back to that shortly. Let's see when it gets picked up. And then hopefully this area will be targeted next. But the area we are definitely targeting more steeply right now, those are the 10K. Thank you very much. I know it's currently tedious and it feels like not much is happening. But it's precisely in these market phases that one should be active and stay engaged. Most people make the mistake of throwing in the towel and leaving the market now. So at this point, thank you very, very much. Also for yesterday's video, over or almost 3,300 views. 1263 DD likes. So if you want to support this video, my hours of research, my work, and all of it completely free of charge, then just click down there and leave a like. That's simple. I'm curious to see who among you will actually do it. And if this is your first video, then a warm welcome to you. First of all, you too can become an uptrender if you are searching for news, fact-based research, without any hype at this point. Hype is always very, very bad for investing. And if you're interested in that, also in the daily trading setup and all other important information, then feel free to leave a free subscription. Just click down here and feel free to activate the bell so you won't miss any further information. Let's get straight to the first factor, the Bitcoin dollar index. Those who have been following my channel for a while have seen this analysis before because historically Bitcoin has always benefited when the US dollar is weak. The problem now is it's not weak. So yes, it's just weakening a little bit right now. Now we just have to wait and see if this is a trend reversal and the dollar loses value. Unfortunately, it doesn't really look like it at the moment. Now, the interesting thing is Trump would like a weak dollar. Why? It's completely logical. A strong US dollar is bad for exports. Unfortunately, he has ignited this trade war. And the trade war, unfortunately, has exactly the opposite effect. Why is this the case again? Due to these high tariffs, it becomes quite unappealing for US companies and consumers to demand foreign goods. As a result, logically, fewer US dollars flow abroad, which then reduces the supply of dollars in international markets. And voila, you have an appreciated currency. And then we come to the next point that could follow. Again, because the US dollar is strong, food prices for consumers in the USA can become more expensive. And as a result, inflation rises. And then the Fed has to rein it in again. And with that, let's directly move on to the topic of inflation, because this is interesting now. On this platform, you should be able to see the current inflation index of the USA. It would now be at 238% here. Now, it should be noted, of course, logically, there has been a relatively quick increase again. We have to wait and see. February is still ongoing, all right. However, the top expectations for the next month are significantly higher. So, they were talking here, they planned for 2.9%, then it was 3.0%, which in turn caused the Nasdaq to react and Bitcoin and so on and so forth. However, if you go by the forecast, and this is how I interpreted it, that the numbers will remain the same, then we are talking about experts suspecting that it will stay at 3% next month as well. But if we really want to believe these numbers and would be almost a full percent below them, folks, that could really have massive impacts if we consider what alone negatively affects just by itself. A difference of 0.1% in market reactions was, it seems to me as if quite a lot is happening in the background right now. But somehow the retailers are not supposed to notice anything, because we all noticed the retailers, they are leaving in panic. Right now, the entire cosmos, and on the other side, all the big institutional investors are buying. Yes, why are they doing that if Bitcoin feels like it's at the top right now? And now it's only going down and we've lost everything. And all the Bitcoin and nothing else is happening. We don't have an overheated phase. I just showed it to you. But such an overheated phase can also come relatively quickly. And for everyone out there shouting and saying, yes, but altcoin season. Yes, the altcoin season, that comes afterward. So that's just logical, you know. First, Bitcoin has to overheat so that the others follow. And now it gets interesting when you look at these institutions. They are investing like crazy right now. Then you have new laws here, Georgia, West Virginia, and so on. So it gives you an upgrade where you can look at how many states alone have submitted applications or presented draft laws for strategic Bitcoin reserves. Guys, this is absolutely wild, especially in terms of the scale we're talking about. So we're talking about Georgia with 5% of the total state reserves, but it goes much, much further. So if we look at this here, West Virginia, they would like to be put in 10% into it. So just what we would have there in terms of volume and flowing into this cosmos. And maybe the institutions possibly know more. There are meetings happening at the White House and made in USA coins and so on. So I'm not entirely sure if that was the final bang, where the last ones who said, oh, no, I don't know, well, I'd rather get out and sell at a loss, are now being flushed out. February has generally been a good month. Maybe they gambled on the idea that until mid-February, nothing would happen, so that's the end. And now the situation might pick up. No investment advice. Folks, once again, no one can know. I don't know. Nor do the people who are somewhere on YouTube or other influencers, even less so any users who then write comments saying, I heard this and that. That's always nice, but in the end, where is the source? Usually nothing comes from that. So, as I said, just take a calm look at it, but it really looks quite exciting right now. And I also shared this again on X yesterday. So if you're not following me there yet and want to have all the news up to date, you can catch up on that. Check the description, there's the link. In any case, you can also see there what's going on, even among the institutions themselves. So if you take a look here, BlackRock, what they are buying here, where, for example, Grayscale throws in the towel again. Or Fidelity. BlackRock is the rock in the storm. But well, it's almost in the name. I've shared this in the past as well. If you look at how many US companies alone have massive spikes in Bitcoin holdings, we're talking about Strategy, we're talking about Tesla, and so on. It's crazy what's happening right now. Now, one would naturally hope that this also spills over a bit to Ethereum. Then it would really be a complete package. I have a few XRP fake news for you that I just found in the news section. Yes, here, Elon Musk, he somehow wants to invest in it. And so on. We've heard that, well, I just went to a very, very unknown search platform called Google. And I entered it and found something from the 9th, April 2024. Very current. We can argue about that now, so let's leave it at that. Here is another projection. Yes, what would it look like if 0.5% of the bank's assets, no, the other way around, if the banks invested 0.5% of their assets, that's it, in a XRP. And then you also come across large projections here saying that billions would flow in. We're talking about approximately a 700% increase in price, reaching a rate of $19.80. So I just want to point out, don't always fanatically think of $100, $200, $10,000. You can also see it here. So quite a bit still needs to happen for the price to move significantly upwards, because many feel that under $50, nothing is realistic at all. That's why I can only give the advice again, no matter what asset. If you are in profit, always take profits regularly. This is exactly the reason why most people lose, because they hold on out of greed. And then the whole thing just explodes. And yes, you end up holding tokens that were worth significantly more before. And now briefly to the community questions before we get to the trading setup. This question is quite justified. How are the prices supposed to rise if there is always liquidity at the bottom? Yes. Welcome to the market maker. That's exactly the problem, because they always push the price in one direction or another and someone leaves. Always over leveraged, or long or short. Only, and this is exactly the impulse that's missing, there would need to be some news or whatever that comes out so that everyone, and probably exactly those who sold at a loss a week ago, wake up again and say, oh, now it's taking off, and now I have to get in. And then this rocket can also ignite, or the market makers simply get bored and say, okay, well, now enough has been skimmed off. There are fewer and fewer people in the market. They logically notice that too, because if less is invested, then less capital flows in, which they can skim off. And then you just let this rocket ignite. Then you let it escalate nicely. The retailers who have no idea will dive back in. Of course, someone has to foot the bill. And then they will probably play the same game again in the counter movement. Also, briefly on this comment, I don't think I need to add anything more. Sorry, Gensler was in power for much longer. He's just barely there now. It feels like 4 weeks at the door. For all the newcomers out there, of course, that can happen. Bitcoin could also fall to zero. In the end, the question is whether it's realistic, because the foundation is established. For example, from Strategy, who say we are long-term holders or potential reserves. Or Tesla. And whatever else, when they buy and hold accordingly, a plateau, a bottom keeps forming. You can see that happening right now. We are constantly in a sideways movement, because eventually there is an end at the bottom. At some point, no one sells anymore. And therefore, it can happen. I would buy immediately if that were the case. I doubt it quite strongly, especially since a chain reaction would be triggered because Strategy. They will be liquidated somewhere around 60, 65K. And if they fall below that and can no longer pay their creditors, then they have a problem. So if you're interested in the details, feel free to check out this video, because it could indeed trigger a fiasco. And here you can see how the fear is in the market. Yes, no one is buying anymore. Altcoins, it's all plundering. A few weeks ago, everyone was shouting about this AI token and saying they had to get into the meme coin. And here it goes. Here you see once again, yes, the fear is present. We will see. But personally, I just say exactly, that's also the reason why one should become alert, because the fear, it really has to be present in the market for one to be able to say there is fear. So everything, as I explained in the video yesterday, if you haven't seen it yet, feel free to click in here. Just because everyone is running around saying, yes, there's a correction, but we all know the prices will rise again. That's not fear. Fear is only present when such comments arise. And here, very briefly, about the trading setup. Basically, not much has happened. I haven't adjusted much either, because it feels like nothing is happening in the market right now. The only thing I did was move my limit order up here, because there's quite a lot of volume here, as we just saw on the heat map. Let's wait and see if this area gets picked up, and if it then goes further down, or possibly the trend reversal. Depending on which, I will then react and logically also adjust my stop loss, because otherwise, I would logically slip into the negative with the stop loss, because if it buys up here, then the average purchase price is naturally elsewhere. At this point, if you're interested in more detail, if I should show the trading setup here more closely, then feel free to write it in the comments, then I'll gladly address it daily. You can also see down here, the returns are running. That's why I've just left all the trades open for now. Now, we will see tendentially. Monday is always a bit of a counter movement here, volatile and so on. And then you can estimate how the market will develop further. But here it's not. A lot with trading. That should be it for now. I am very curious. Feel free to write in the comments, what is your opinion on this? Do you agree with me? Do you think we are on the verge of a breakout? Or is it just again, yes, we're all wildly hoping again. And in the end, we've all said 20 times already that the breakout is coming. I am very curious if you liked the video. Otherwise, it would be super cool. It supports my work. It's completely free for you if you leave a like and also subscribe. Then this whole thing can continue to grow. And finally, I can only give you the tip to check out this video as well, where I talk about the latest news regarding the SEC, Ripple, and so on, because even that alone could be a massive bombshell if this verdict were finally announced or if the legal dispute were concluded. So I would check it out. And with that, we'll see each other tomorrow in the next video. Until then, all the best. Bye.